Hello, welcome. Welcome, Mary Beth. We're just getting started because I forgot to press record, but now we're
Oh,
recording
thank
and you
goodness.
arrived at the same time. How about that? It was meant to be. We're discussing Atomic Habits, bestseller book, been around. I don't know. I could never be one of those Barker's Beauties or whatever. I would never get that right. Not that I aspire to be one, but um, my sister had gotten this book as a gift, and she said, Jill, you got to read this book. I'm like, okay. Well, I love book recommendations, and so I picked it up, and I really liked it. I like habits because I think habits are how we succeed in business by creating good habits, getting rid of bad habits. Really, anything in our lives, right? Everything is often dictated by the habits that we have acquired, good or bad. It reminded me back in the day, some of you have been with me on this journey for a very long time. You might remember I used to host the 21-day marketing challenge. And the
Yes.
whole intent of the 21-day marketing challenge was to help entrepreneurs create a daily marketing habit. And I still believe, even though it's been 5 years or so since I've hosted that, that really is the key to a successful marketing implementation, is to have some type of habit around your marketing. And that also helps with weight loss and writing books and, you know, whatever habits that you want to have in your life. So I have some questions to get us started. I know some of us, some didn't finish the book. That's okay. If you didn't even read it, that's okay, because I hope that my discussions are always clear enough for that. So one of the as soon as the book started, I was captivated by his story of that baseball injury. Wow, do y'all remember that? He got hit in the head with a bat. God, gosh. And then, but what I loved about it is he came back, and not only did he play baseball in college, he was recognized for his baseball and academic successes. That's quite a turnaround story right there. I've never heard of him, but wow, that's incredible. Let me get a drink. So that was a really cool beginning. I was thinking of you, Debbie, as I was reading that. I'm like, well, that's a story, because you didn't really know where that was going.
Right.
I was like, gosh, it's this gentleman in a wheelchair, like because I didn't know him. I was like, wow, what happened to this? Hi,
Right.
Sherry. So, but when he opened up his discussion, and for those of you in the book, it's on page 39. Let me go to it so I can read it exactly. This is the thing that really, like, I'm surprised I didn't flag this page. And I talked about it during one of the book prompts. It's believing that you are the person on the other end of the good habit. Right? Right? I am a person who always returns email. I am a person who runs 5Ks. I am a person who posts to Facebook every day. Whatever it is, fill in the blank. And even saying that before you've actually created that habit, and believing, it's just sort of a law of attraction thing, which is why I think it really resonated with me, is this just creates that intention. So he says, decide the type of person you want to be is step one. So deciding, like I said in my the Facebook prompt in our group, I'm a New York Times bestselling author. Now I have no control over that. I have no control whether that, but just stating that immediately shifted my thinking into, okay, is this what a New York Times bestselling author would do? Is this how she would market? Is this how she would grow her platform? Is this how she would write the book? Is this how she would look at opportunities? And just having that shift. So maybe the result won't be there, but that discipline and that ethic and all of that just sort of fell right into line. That was a huge thing for me. And then the second thing he said, to prove it to yourself with small wins. This can be hard because we often forget to celebrate our wins, big or small. And that just really jumped out at my page, to the point where I actually underlined and then circled it. I always have to check on myself. So let me ask you, ladies, who are you? Who are you? Debbie Caven, who are you?
It's interesting because what I loved about this section of the book is I remember very clearly being just, a stay-home mom who was taking classes, and I ordered my first business cards outside of someone else paying for them. And I got them, they just said writer. And I thought, I claimed
Yes, you did.
that I was a writer, and it just shifted everything.
Yes.
No one, I hadn't published a damn thing. It didn't matter, but I was a writer.
Yeah.
And I remember that I still have a copy. I got little ones and I had big ones, and it just said, literally the back of it was writer.
Oh my God, I love it. And you are.
Yeah.
You
But
are a writer.
but claiming it was the first step.
Yeah, it is so true. Now, what would you say you are now? Would that be amended in any way?
Yeah, I think I have really two personas. I am a writer for sure. Personally, like that's one part of who I am. And the other is publisher. I think that just stepping more fully into what that means. I'm still evolving, but I claim that I'm a publisher. I feel like I've certainly got the track record, and I'm always growing and improving. So
yes, yeah, amen to that. Very good. How about you, Karen? Who are you? As she takes a drink.
I have to unmute. I was going to sneeze and I muted. I don't know. I think I am a person who takes responsibility for when something goes wrong.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't blame it on somebody else. Yeah. I've lived with somebody who blamed everything on somebody else. And,
yeah.
But, and I think, I mean, my mom always said that, you know, if you did it, you own up to it.
Yeah, the accountability. That's huge.
Accountability, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. See, I think you did know who you were. There you go. All right, well, Mary Beth's standing, so I don't know if she's just got a crick in her back or if this is a demonstration. So Mary Beth, if you have me intrigued. Gonna come to attention?
I'm standing because this is the week of emergency animal sessions. So I was doing an emergency animal session before I expected to. So I've been sitting since 10.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're standing.
To get off my butt, literally.
Yeah. Yes. So who are you, Mary Beth?
I don't like that question.
Okay. Fair enough.
Me on the thought. Yeah. Because it makes me, it's like, I'm going to take the long route. My upbringing, Catholic upbringing, you do not brag about yourself. You do not brag about yourself. That's what, you know. But I am a compassionate person with some incredible skills to help animals and people. Yeah. I have some incredible skills to help animals and people shift to a better place. I don't know exactly how to spell that out.
I think you just did.
Okay, well, good. Okay, so I'm understanding.
I would agree with every word you uttered. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, good. All right, Nancy, who are you?
Heck if I know.
Yeah.
I think I can easily say I am a lifelong learner. I am always striving to improve. That's the kind of person I am. If I want to do the aspirational thing, let's see if I can do this. I am the go-to person for women entrepreneurs who want to break through, who want a breakthrough. Let's put it that way. So
own it.
We'll see how that.
Own it. Love it. Sherry Andrews eating her lunch. Is your mouth empty?
I'm eating my lunch because I have to leave early from the book club today because I have to go get a mammogram.
Well, we hope that your mammogram is uneventful, my friend.
So not looking forward to that.
It's
hate
never
them
a
with a
pleasure.
passion. But I am first and foremost a mother. And my family, my children will always come first no matter what. But personally, I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur. And I'm going to own that I'm not just an attorney, I am also an author and an educator. And I have a firm belief in lifelong learning. And, you know, I was going to say that even before Nancy brought it up, but yes, it's part of my being. It's built into my DNA, I think. And so that's
who you
my
are.
answer.
Love it. Ladies, I love everything you said. It was interesting from back here observing everybody, how, and I know I caught you off guard with the question, so that's a fair thing. But many of you couldn't conjure up what to say. It was like, who the hell am I? And I have a feeling, it's a guess, that if I posed that question to guys, we would still be talking about who they are.
What would it be what they do as who they are?
It could very well could be. And
Especially
it may not be enjoyable to still be listening to them at this point either. But the point is, they make, like, there's confidence there. There's the sense of ownness that they have. And I just would encourage all of us, including me, to own who we are, to own who we aspire to be, or who we currently are. And yeah, maybe, you know, caught you on an off moment, that's cool. But just own it. Just own it, for sure. Yeah, Deb, go ahead.
I want to hear who you are, Jill Celeste.
I'm a best-selling New York Times best-selling author. I'm also a woman who fits in a size 12 pair of jeans. Because you can have more than what I am, right? Why not? One for each of your goals. So I'm on a weight loss journey, just to lose a little bit of the COVID weight I put on, and that's what I am. So, and if you think, well, Jill, has nothing to do with your emotions, it has everything to do with my emotions, those two things. It really, really does. Because it's a mindset about not being afraid of success, which is something I'm always battling, and self-image, which is something I'm also always battling. So those are two biggies. There's lots nestled in there. So then the second half of this is to look for small wins, and proof that you are on your way. So for those of you who've been with me in the book club for a while, you might remember a book we read by Michael Lossier about the law of attraction. And he had this exercise, and this is about money, where you look for proof for abundance, right? So if you save 40 cents on your grocery bill, oh, there's 40 cents, that's proof of my abundance, right? If you get free advice from somebody, oh, that's proof of my abundance. And when you become aware, like from a money perspective, of all the wealth, prosperity, money, abundance, however you like to call it, coming your way, you see proof that things are manifesting for you. And I loved, again, this is another law of attraction-y thing about, is to look for the small wins. So think about what you declared here today, or what you may declare in the future, and then look around and say, you know, what wins have you acquired in your lifetime that prove that you are the thing that you said you are? So for me, I am an Amazon best-selling author. Okay, that sounds like somebody who might be on her way. I've written books. Again, somebody else who might be on her way, right? For the size 12 jeans, I am back in a size 14 jeans. So I'm back, I'm back on that path. Looking for those small wins. And by the way, those are big wins. So even smaller wins, having a publisher, having an editor. I mean, it's funny how we think about the things around us that we often don't realize, oh yeah, that's me heading in the direction in which I'm going. So I'm going to go back around the room again, the Zoom room. So think about small wins. Debbie, let's start with you. I think you were the first one I called on.
Yeah, so
small wins.
Small wins. So for me as a writer, every time I, have something published, that just feels like.
How many times have you been published? Do you know?
I'm looking at my bookshelf, so let me just count.
Yep, take a
1, 2, about 8 times.
Look at you, writer. You didn't even know you had to go and count.
I had to count. And then, I have a completed novel, and I have a second one that's about halfway done. Yeah. So it's just a matter of, but I am a writer.
You are a writer, and you're also a publisher. So what small wins have you about that?
Yeah. Well, under Highlander Press, I think I'm up to 6 or 7 books under Highlander Press. in a year. Not too shabby.
That's a small win.
That's a small win. But I think at this point, I'm up to 30 books that I've edited or helped people self-publish. And here's the interesting thing. My professor he considers his publishing house a mid-sized publisher. And he publishes 25 books a year.
Look at you.
I'm going to be there very quickly.
Yes, you are.
So
yes,
that really excites me.
It does. So remember that. And then you gather more small wins as you go, right? Every time you sign a new author, every time a new author publishes, you're like, Sherry's book coming out. What was that, April 1st, I think, Sherry? We're doing pre-orders. Is that what I read somewhere?
April 1,
yeah. So there's more little pebbles to put in your little win column.
Well, and I'm going to claim that I'm going to have New York Times bestselling authors as part of Highlander Press.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. You are a publisher who publishes books that hit multiple bestselling lists, right? Yes. Amen. All right. So Karen, you mentioned you're a compassionate person who takes, no, that was Mary Beth. I apologize. Accountable, small wins on how you are accountable.
I don't know.
I bet I do. So somebody didn't get the right product in the mail from you.
That doesn't usually happen.
I'm sure it doesn't. Or if they're upset about something.
Well, I take responsibility for it.
You do. Yep. Let me share with you how you're accountable. This is something that happened for me recently. You heard that I wanted, I wanted Glennon Doyle. I want Glennon Doyle to write my foreword. And you offered to write her a letter. And you said, I'll write it today. And that was before, I forget which someone came, Brent, maybe?
Brent's family.
Yeah, Brent's family came and you forgot.
No, I just couldn't get to it.
Couldn't get to it, yes, couldn't get to it. And then when you did, it was 10 o'clock at night, I got an email saying, I got that letter out, Jill. That's a person who's accountable. And I thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But I felt really bad that I didn't get it done before they showed up. But when you've got 4 people running around the house, I couldn't.
No, I understood.
I couldn't think about what I really wanted to say.
Yeah.
Well, so I had to wait till they left.
I can appreciate that. Living with 4 other people. So thank you. But that's an example of how you are accountable. So there you go. I bet you have more too. All right, Nancy. I know Nancy. Small wins.
Well, I actually I have a growing reputation. Let's put it that way. In some groups I belong to, and I am always grateful, but surprised actually when someone will just blurt out, oh, Nancy did this great thing, or oh, you should take that to Nancy, and that it's like, oh yeah. But I will say that today the big win for me, small win. It's going to sound like a small win. I thought it was small when I started it, but it's been a honking huge deal.
Woo!
I am finishing today I'm going to be able to launch it. It's not, there's some more things to be taken care of on the other end, but I'm launching my new IFO for those who know the language. It's a quiz for women entrepreneurs to find out which of the 3 areas they have the biggest blocks in, subconscious blocks, recognizing them. And it's fun. I had so much fun making it. And then they get 3 videos, 1 for each area to tap away a common block. And it's like, okay.
Yes.
So last night, up until midnight, not midnight, till 10, I'm sitting on the couch with my husband and we're like, okay, what happens then? Oh, we got to rewrite that. Oh, yeah. Anyway, it took forever to get there. But it could, let's put it this way. It's a win in that I could see that leading to a much bigger growth.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so that's why I'm thinking of it as a big win. So
You should think of it as a big win. That's huge. Congratulations.
I will share that link when I have it.
Well, maybe by Friday in Virtual Networkers, maybe you'll be ready.
I will, but I won't be there because it's 5 a.m.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Well, you can email it to me and I'll share it.
I will email it to you. I'm actually going on a podcast this afternoon where I'm going to talk about this stuff, and then I'm going to
good.
This is for them, and I'll have a link that way, and I'll share that link.
Oh, look at another win you just dropped. Gonna be on a podcast this afternoon, huh?
Yeah.
See how shit's right underneath our nose. We don't even see it. Good for you, Nancy. All right, Mary Beth, compassionate, gifted animal communicator. You.
This has been a week of small wins that I've really loved. I've had two people yesterday morning and this morning reach out to me to help them with their animals. And one, so I told Debbie, I'll do a short version, but I had been at the Veterinary Holistic Center Monday with a woman, and she brought all these notes from a previous animal communicator, and she's ready to take notes. She took no notes on me, and I told Debbie I completely failed. And she calls me up Tuesday morning and says, what you did made such a difference with my cat, and this is happening and that's happening, and I don't know if he's ready to pass. And so we had a wonderful session, given the fact that the cat is now in kitty heaven. But it was a total confirmation that what I do helps. And this morning as well, somebody said, I've been working with her for a while, and we're working with her bunny. She said to me, Mary Beth, when I do my business and I think of who I want to be like and how I want to be out there in the world, I want to be like you. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So, and okay, I got to tell one, because this has been like an extraordinarily, strangely good week. I'm updating my credit card information because the previous credit card got fraud stuff, right? With the Edgar Casey Association down in Virginia Beach. And we're talking and we're having a great conversation. And she says, I was just hanging out on your website and I just loved it. I'm going to give your name to them. And they do stuff on animal communication all the time. I'm going to just pass it on to them and see. She says, no promises, but maybe we can have you come and talk.
Oh my gosh.
I said, that would be a dream, literally a dream come true.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
been sitting in the audience for years, but I've never been,
Yes.
So it's been a really, thank you for letting me share these, because these are really big things for me this week.
They are huge.
Really
Good for
big
you.
things for me. Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. Congratulations. I think all of us are so thrilled for you. And MB's headache was linked to the kitty's headache. Oh.
It was, yeah. He had, cancer behind the left eye.
Oh.
So Duff is in a place where it's not bugging him anymore. That's the good news.
Yeah, I bet he's feeling great. Send him up to Duff and his human, because we all know how hard it is.
Absolutely.
Say goodbye. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Sherry, small wins, my friend.
My small wins are just like stacking up. So you all know I have my cover. The cover reveals Friday. I'm opening up pre-sales, pre-orders soon. I just feel like this is all coming around, and now I'm able to talk about it when I'm a podcast guest. Very soon I'm going to have links. I've got a book page ready to go on my website. They're just like all over the place. So
yes, it's raining small wins in Sherry's world.
Very much
That's
so.
Awesome. I am so proud of each and every one of you. Really, really, really. That is amazing stuff. So here's what I want you to remember on days when you feel less than stellar, or you feel like, the imposter syndrome is piping in your head, or whatever, somebody says something to you and it just throws you off the rails, which has happened to me this week. I want you to remember the I am statement that you have declared, or whatever you might declare in the future, and then take a quick inventory. I bet in 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you can come up with a couple things that show you you're on the right path. And I hope it felt good to share these small wins with this group, because I think we're a great secret group. A lot of us have known each other for a long time, working with different capacities, and we can celebrate that with each other, and continue to celebrate those as we go, because this is how, because it's easier to create the habit if you see that, oh yeah, I'm getting signs, this is the right way to go, this is where I'm supposed to be headed. And if we can dwell on those things instead of the one-off criticism or the shitty day or the email that didn't sound right, whatever, then we can stay focused to what it is we're trying to succeed, right? So so this book is about habits, and yes, so in order to create a habit, you got to believe that you're the person on the other side of the habit who successfully accomplished that habit. Finding the wins helps you stay on course, and then there comes the action of the habit itself. One of the things I love, and what he mentioned is one way to create a good habit is to sort of hook it on to something that you're already doing. So if you want to do 10 sit-ups in the morning, then you're like, I'm going to brush my teeth and then do the 10 sit-ups, you know, like, so just hooking it on to a normal activity. That was brilliant. And I'm thinking about, you know, ways, Lancey's got the link in the thing. Awesome. I was thinking about, you know, how I've done that in my own life without even realizing it. And one of the things, as many of you know, I have my hobby is the Tampa Bay Basset Hounds, which is a meetup group. And every day I post a picture of a Basset Hound on Instagram. And I thought, gosh, when I look back at that, because that's another thing I had to do. I had to create the graphic, post the graphic, write a caption. And what I would do, the habit I created is I just sort of hooked it on to after I sit down, after I feed the animals, they're fed, I sit down on my computer and I post that graphic. And it was such a natural little hook, right? Because I'm already in the animal land mentally. And then, you know, I have this happy Basset Hound picture that to post. And it was so easy. And now I don't even think about it. I feed the animals, they sit down, I go to the Dropbox file, done. And it takes me, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to get the whole thing done between all the places I posted. I don't even think about it. So when you're thinking about the habits that you want to create, that's a great strategy. And I was wondering if anybody else had any, if you remember that from the book, and if you had any other thoughts or ideas around sort of attaching it to what your habits already are. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, Debbie, said wave, yes.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say.
Unapologetically, go.
Unapologetically. It's interesting because one of the key habits of being a writer is the habit of writing.
Sit down and write.
So get your ass in the chair and write, excuse the French, or plain English, as it were. And but one of the things that I early on in my writing career, I learned that if you write first and then do something physical, your body releases endorphins that actually reinforce the notion that you want to write. And so, it has to be in that order, because you've done the writing, which is the hard, you know, for me, the best time is literally getting up, dragging myself to the computer before anybody else does anything. With having a dog, that's a little more challenging. But doing it and then going for a walk. And releasing the endorphins. And so it builds that, it rebuilds that muscle, and the feeling of accomplishment is expanded.
Interesting. And you get two healthy or sought after habits knocked out, 1, 2. You get to write and you're exercising. I mean,
before anybody else, you know, is in your space.
Yes, before your day starts. Yeah, right. Before you struck email and all that. Yeah, that's a great thing. Anybody else have a habit that they've created hooked on something else? It's okay if you don't. Let's talk about bad habits for a little bit. Who's got bad habits? Yes. Some of us have had really bad habits. Some of us have had really slightly bad habits. You know, one of the habits I had to break, I'm still working through, is emotional eating, and that is it's addiction, but there's a habit to it as well. Um, and he talks about one of the ways to break a habit is to make it unappealing or unattractive. And I love chocolate. I love, love, love chocolate. I don't believe in depriving myself of chocolate, but what I can do is, instead of having one little Dove chocolate, I have half a bag of Dove chocolate, right? So one of the things I picked up from his book is, yes, I have every day I have one piece of Dove chocolate. Love it. It's great. I have it usually as a little, with my little afternoon snack. But if I reach for more, I pretend it just visited the cat's litter box. And now that now that chocolate becomes quite unattractive to me. And I just kind of visualize, like, oh, and it immediately makes me not want that chocolate anymore. It is strange. I don't know how I've convinced myself of that, because I know it is nowhere near the glitter box, but just the idea of those little wrapped chocolates hanging out with what's in the litter box turns me off. It makes it unattractive in my head. So let's talk about how we can break bad habits. So you got to, you could, I think he had said, like, you can either remove it, take it away, make it unattractive, no reward for it, those types of things. What bad habits have you broken in the past or working on? Maybe it's a work in progress, like me with the chocolate. Yeah, Sherry, go ahead.
So I have the same Dove chocolate addiction that you do, Dove dark chocolate.
Yep, that's what I drink.
And in order to limit myself to one a day, what I had to do was put it out of reach. So instead of being right here in my office with my, daily Larabar, I put it out in the other room. So I actually, if I'm going to have one, have to get up and go get it.
Yeah, it's huge.
And that's helped.
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress, but it has helped.
This helped. Yeah. Good for you. I once coached a weight loss coach years ago, who didn't believe in deprivation for your diet, and she's from Australia, and they have Tim Tams, which I guess are a cookie or a biscuit, like a really delicious, kind of like maybe like an Oreo or something like along the lines for us. And when she was losing her weight, she had a soft spot for the Tim Tams. So what she did is she has a home, and then she has like a little garage apartment on her property. And so she would hide the Tim Tams in the master bedroom closet of her guest house. So if she wanted the Tim Tams, she'd have to first go to the kitchen and get the key, and then walk across her property, which is not, it's like a neighborhood, get in the house, go upstairs to the master bedroom, and then go in the closet and then get the Tim Tams. And just all of those steps to get to her Tim Tams often was not worth the Tim Tam, and she would forget it. And she would say, never mind, I don't want it. So that was brilliant. And she really wanted it. She would go through all those steps, but the idea of, like what Sherry said, it's not in my drawer, really making it out of sight, at least as it relates to food, I think really is a helpful thing. So go hide your Tim Tams, whatever. I gotta go find out what Tim Tam is, but I know it's a cookie. So who else got a bad habit they want to break or did break? Nancy, go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure I've completely broken this one, but
that's all right.
It's and the food ones are the easy to think about ones. But my husband had a friend who said, when she was trying to break a habit of eating chips and things, she's like, if she'd eat it if she could put it in a bowl of water and still want to eat it. So an apple, a bag of chips, no, thank you.
That's an incredible.
I haven't tried that one, but what I did was I had a 13-year-old who announced one day that we will not have chips anymore. And we tested her. We might have brought home a couple bags now and then. And the blowback made it so unpleasant that I now can walk past the chips store fairly easily. So I can recommend that. Sure.
Yeah. Cranky 13-year-old dictating the chip intake. I love it. Well, it's I guess it'd be worse things she can have blow up about.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. It gets better when they get older, a little bit better, I promise.
If you have boys, I think it's different.
Yeah, oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. No argument there. Who else? Bad habit. Mary Beth, have you ever had any bad habits?
Not me.
Not me.
I was just in February. I was in my own mind celebrating 40 years sober.
God,
Yeah,
wow,
I
Mary
started early.
Beth.
I started
Wow.
early on my bad habits. As soon as I found alcohol, I'll tell you, my joke is just like instant ramen. You add water and you got noodles. You add alcohol, you got alcoholic. That was me.
It was
So
you.
I did a lot of stuff from AA. If you spend a little time sober and then you hang out with your friends who are still drinking, it's a very good lesson in why you want to not pick up your next drink. Oh my goodness. You're like, oh, I was just like Arlene. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And then, lots of stories. Like, I look at my kids and I think, you are so lucky I had you sober. You are so lucky. I may not be a great mom, but I'm so much better sober. So, so I've had proof over the time to remind myself it's not worth going back. And my sister-in-law died of alcoholism. She was the youngest. She was the baby of my husband's family of alcoholism, liver failure. So that was another reminder of gratitude for me and sorrow for the family.
Yeah.
So I get stuff like, And let me just, I thought of a one where I'm stacking things. It took me a little while. So if I can go back, we're talking kitty litter. You're probably talking about kitty litter, reminded me. I'm the one who walks the dogs at night and I come home with the bag, the poopy bag. So that, what I've stacked on that is, I look back and say, the door is locked. So I have this thing. I come in, I check and see that the door is locked because I'm the last one out. Then I've stacked in cleaning the kitty litter. That's the next thing I do. And then I make sure the back door is locked, because sometimes if we didn't do that, some other human in my family has gone out there and not locked the back door. That would be my husband, because he's the only other human in the family. And so I've stacked in a few nightly things. Turning lights off, just on coming back from walking the dogs. And that's been very successful for me, just adding on a few things.
Because you're already in a like an autopilot mode at that point.
I am. I'm like, check. Okay.
So if you wanted to add something else in, you could very easily. And it doesn't have to be related to poop or locks either. It could be, I'm going to take a moment here to express gratitude. I don't know, I'm making it up.
Right. And yeah, exactly. And
you're kind of in that mode.
I think I'm working on that, because it's, like, now we turn the light off and we think about the gratitude.
Yeah. And how thankful we are to have our pets or whatever, it is what it is. So, but that's cool. Yeah. I think if we all reflect on our morning routine, what we do when we get out of bed and what we do before we go to bed, there's opportunities there for us to see how we have created habits, good or bad, no judgment. But it seems like those 2 times of day really feel open to habit forming, because it's the bookends of the day, right?
Well, that's true, because I've been thinking now, what else can I stack? What else can I make difficult? I mean, I'm just thinking a lot more about it now because we're reading the book. Yeah,
good. That's good. So let's talk about this from a business perspective, marketing perspective. So, as someone who loves marketing, one of the complaints or issues or whatever the word is, icky word that I get from entrepreneurs, not necessarily those in this room, but in general, is that marketing, I forget to do the marketing, or it takes a lot of time, or why bother? All these excuses. And that's why, as I mentioned before, creating some sort of daily marketing habit is so helpful, because with habits, you don't really think about it. You just, you sit down and you do the thing, right? Or you come in from the night walk and you start locking doors and throwing away poop and all that. I mean, you don't think about it. You just do it. So for those of you, and I know a lot of you have been marketing for many years, and you may already have some marketing habits that you have created. So let's talk about those. So for example, I have a marketing habit where I shoot a video on Wednesday, which was today. And I shoot the video, I make the thumbnail, I make the Dropbox folder, and I have it all ready so that Thursday morning I can post it, and I post it in this order: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. Don't ask me why it's in that order, but that's just the way my brain goes, and it's never, and if I try to do it out of that order, oh, my brain's like, what did you just do? You did LinkedIn before Twitter, Jill? Don't do that. And it is a habit. I don't even think about it. It's just boom. And that's just one little piece of my marketing, right? Writing a video there. For a long time, when I was writing Loud Woman, as Debbie knows, I would get up at 4 a.m. I'd get up at 4 a.m. I had a different morning habit back then, but I'd get up at 4 a.m. I would feed the animals so that they would leave me alone. And I'd sit down and I'd write till 5 a.m. And it was just a habit. It just sat down and wrote. And it didn't matter if it was crap. It didn't matter if it was profound. I wrote. And that's how I got my first draft of Loud Woman done, is by now 4 a.m. before everybody woke up. And that quiet house, and I knocked out the writing. I don't follow that habit anymore because I'm not in the writing mode, but I would definitely do it again. If I were to write something from scratch, a book like that, I would definitely embrace that habit because it worked for me. So think about your marketing that you do. I bet many of you produce a newsletter. Are you making the newsletter on certain days, or certain, so like Monday is the day I put the newsletter together? Or are you using, I know some, like for example, Karen has a habit during study hall, she's doing her financials. She's doing her packing. It's just boom. I could almost predict what Karen's working on in study hall, because she's created a habit. And it may not even be she may not think that's a habit. It's more like, well, I know that study hall, and this is what I do on study hall, but that is really technically a habit, right? I think Mary Beth does a lot of blogging during study hall. It's become a habit. Here comes study hall, I'm going to do blogging. And it takes away the pressure or the stress of, when am I going to find time for, because you have a habit created that allows you to complete the task, right? Sherry, every Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday is your Facebook Live. Is that right? Do I have the right day of the week? If I don't, forgive me.
It's Wednesdays now.
Wednesday.
It had to move because
Okay.
of other commitments, but yeah, every Wednesday.
So every Wednesday, you're going to go on Facebook Live and do it. You may think about what the hell are you going to talk about, but there's no debate in your head as to what day you're going to shoot that Facebook Live now. It's Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've actually started doing planning a series per month, so that I do know for at least that month what I'm talking about. And I decided to have it stack on that, which is once the live, once I've signed off and I wait for Facebook to post it, I go back and listen to make sure that it's working, because I've had a couple of times where my sound was gone. And then as soon as I've reviewed it and, it's good, I'm posting it to my Facebook group. So
Good.
At least it's immediately going one more place.
Yes. Love that. You just kind of hook that right onto your existing habit. Excellent. I love it. Nancy, how often do you go on Facebook Live? Is that a habit you've created?
It's interesting. I started doing videos, just, I'd create them with the camera and the QuickTime player, and it would take a long time. And they'd be all scripted. And then somebody pushed and I had to do Facebook Lives. So I scripted it out, but it was going to be Mondays at 1, and it still is. And I always do that now. But I've gone from the scripted take forever to do it to this past, like 6 weeks ago, I started a month-long challenge of doing a video every day in Facebook. And it taught me that I could do the damn video no matter what, with script or without. And
Yes,
so now it's much more comfortable. It went from like a huge boulder lift thing to like, oh, hey, it's 1 o'clock on Monday. I better say something. So it's not quite that bad. But it has, yes, it was a habit. And when it was once a week, it wasn't as easy as when I did it every day. And now to go back to once a week, it's like, oh, that's my habit now. And now it's easy. I don't know what to say about that other than all the words I just said, but it seems like there's something in there, which I haven't quite teased out yet. But.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's why a lot of times mentors or, you know, coaches will throw down those 30-day Facebook Live challenges, 30-day video challenges, 30-day blog challenge. If you know, insert blank. I've done it. I've been mentored by people who've done it, and it's really about what you said. It's about creating a habit, but also to show that you can do it. It's the proof that you can do it, and do it in a way that maybe takes less time for you because you're not scripting every word for 30 days of video. That's a lot of time. And being confident in your delivery. And so good for you for doing it, first and foremost. And I think it's a lesson there for all of us. It's habit forming, but it's also confidence building.
Yeah.
Whew, when you put those two things together, that's pretty good.
And my husband is so relieved I'm not doing it every day anymore. He's like, some of that stuff, you sure you want to leave that up? Like, I don't care. It's up there now. But
Done.
I didn't send it out in my newsletter. I'll put it that way.
Imperfect actions. Okay, though, right? Yeah. So, you know, if you're looking at your marketing, and again, a lot of you, you're seasoned marketers, you know, you guys been doing this a while. Sherry's like, wait a second, I just started my business. You're seasoned to me now. You've got a book out. But think about the next level for those of you who are wanting to go to the next level. What does a next level marketing habit look like? Hint, it usually involves other people, resources, for example, or vendors. But think about the habit there. So if, for example, those in the marketing world, if you look at like the Fabienne and the Marie Morfolio and the Brendan Bouchard, like all those big names that, you know, up the ladder for me, their video making habit is very different than ours. All they do is shoot the video, and maybe they don't even record it themselves. There's somebody standing there in front of them. I don't know, or they do it themselves. But really what's happening is a video, they record the video or it's recorded for them. A file is created, probably stuck in Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that. And some video making wizard takes it from there. And then probably from there, it goes to a marketing wizard who does something with it on social media. All of those are processes, but the habit is still there for the mentor. And more likely he or she is making about 20 videos in a row and then divvying them up. But that's still a habit. It's, you know, it's still a habit. And so think about, as you want to up level, what that habit will be. I am an entrepreneur who outsources 3/4 of her video production. So what does that look like? You know, and then you may not achieve that today, but believing that you will and seeing the wins around will help you achieve that. If that's just an example, but that's just really, that's where you know would be there. So Sherry wrote, my next level habit would be blogging, getting my stuff posted in all of the social medias and not just on Facebook. Perfect. That's how it is. And you may think, I can do this myself. I just need to create the habit now. Or it could be, I'm going to make this much money so I can pay someone to do it for me. There's no right or wrong answer. Or maybe it's, I'm going to do it for now, and then when I make X amount of money, then I'll outsource that piece out. That's where I'm at. You know, I'll do it now because I like to do it. And then when it's affordable to me to do so, I will happily pass that on to somebody else. So think about that. You know, what does the next level of marketing look like for you? And what habits can you establish now to help you? Or what habits do you need to create to help you achieve that goal? So as Sherry said, there's a social media piece. So it's either, as I said, making the time on her calendar or outsourcing it so that it can be done by somebody else. Debbie, what do you think? What does the next level marketing look like for you?
Oh, definitely. I was just thinking about that. There are things that I miss doing, like writing my blogs, and I know I have inconsistent marketing habits. I'm great at marketing other people's stuff, but I'm the cobbler shoes, not so great at doing my own. I'm still a work in progress here. So I think just creating consistency for me will be a huge win. And then I can then shut it off. So I do a great job of kind of planning out what I want to be doing each month. I get my newsletter out. I know what the topics are going to be. I feel really confident in that. It's then translating that into consistent social media that doesn't all look cookie cutter like I want. I think I'm good at the planned stuff, but it's the showing up stuff. And I get the messages time and time again. When I show up on video, especially on Instagram, people comment, oh, I saw your video, that's why I'm contacting you. So I may not see it on the back end, but I'm getting, the reinforcement that it's working. So
So it sounds like to me your next level marketing is having time, creating time, I should say, you have it, creating time to do the video and creating a process, whether it's executed by you or by somebody else, that allows you to repurpose all the juicy stuff you have and just kind of dropping it in there for you. It would be interesting I wonder if for you, when you reach, some of this maybe you could implement now, but maybe something to reach late for later. I wonder if you would do well batch recording. Just sit there. Don't worry about your same shirt and the same hairstyle. Like that throws a lot of women off. Oh, I gotta change my shirt. I mean, change your shirt if it makes you feel better. But just sitting there and making 10 videos.
Yeah, when I've done that, I did that a couple of months ago, and I just literally changed my scarf. I put on a top and just changed the scarf. But then I had technical challenges. I could not get them uploaded. And so that just completely derailed me for weeks. I couldn't get them to process. It resolved itself and they've all been used.
Wow, that was somebody tested you, huh?
I mean, I did not give up. I will say I was tenacious.
Good for you. Yeah. Oh, damn it, I shot this video.
I did, I think 4 or 5 that day.
I'd be interested if
it does help.
If you could, try it again and see what happens.
I will take that challenge.
Just be curious. No attachment to the outcome. Let's just see what breakdown, if any, occurs. Because that was definitely, I think, not that you're in charge of the technical stuff, but I felt like somebody really making sure that you want to be visible.
It's probably my subconscious.
Somehow, with a Mercury retrograde thrown in or something, there was there's something that's interesting. Today I shot a video, and I'm gonna brag about myself. I can usually make my weekly videos in one take. And I have just, a couple bullet points somewhere in front of me, and I can. Today it took me 6 takes, and I finally nailed number 6. Like Sherry did. I went and listened to it again, and it sounded like this. So the first thought was, well, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'll just skip the video. Now, I already skipped the video last week because I was lazy. There was no other. I'm like, no, damn it, Jill, you're going to do this. So I took the AirPods out, and I used the good old fashioned video, the audio on my computer. And on take 7, I finally got it. That's unheard of for me, but I really think it was like a subconscious thing or something telling me, how badly do you want to get this message out? Like, damn it, I want to get it out. So I did. So hang in there. Stick with it. So Nancy, what's your next level marketing look like?
I'm just going to comment on what you said first.
Please.
I was doing videos, the tap along videos that are the gift that goes with the quiz. And I did 2 of them yesterday, or 2 days ago. And then yesterday I did another one for my group. And I'm like, I'm so videoed out here, but they were going pretty quickly, except for this last one. And it's like a 10-minute, 11-minute video. And I did the first one, it wasn't that good. So I did it again and it was better. And then I realized the cord from my lavalier mark had gotten around my arm. And then I had to redo it. And then I did it again. And then 5 minutes in, I sneezed really loudly. And it was like,
oh
okay.
my goodness.
My husband could edit that out, but it wasn't that good anyway. And then I stopped, and good thing too, because my microphone had been turned off.
Oh.
So I turned it on and now I had the good mic, the good sound. Oy. So maybe so that you would have the better one, the one that's really right for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
My next level of marketing is something that I keep saying I'm going to do that just keeps sliding off the plan, is to plan it out. Was it Sherry was saying she's good at planning, or
yes,
Debbie?
she plans hers out. Yep.
And I'm
being Sherry.
not. I mean, I'd like to be. Sometimes I think, okay, I'm going to have this series and that can work for me. But usually the series idea comes the day of the first one. Okay. And then I can do the rest and it's easier. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe there's a subconscious block.
Perhaps.
I'm happy that I'm able to do things on the fly, but I know how much easier it would be to plan it out, and especially then get to the point where I can do the videos all in one day.
Yeah, that would be good for
20
you.
of them and then have them. But I am not there yet. But the next one is to at least plan topics. So
yeah. So you are a marketer who plans her video topics in advance. And then think what habits. That might be one to kind of hook on to something you're already doing. Like after you finish the Facebook Live, write down next week's Facebook Live topic. For example, I'm making something, like why are you sort of in that Facebook Live move groove? I don't know. I think you can do it though. Yeah. I think you can do it. And Debbie's bought a Yeti microphone and God, yeah. Tapping it on that Yeti. My husband has one of those Yetis. Look at that. Wow. So professional. Karen, what's your next level marketing look like?
Well, can we just do what I'm doing?
Yes, ma'am. I was gonna say you're doing pretty good at the job.
Okay, the money is in the list, right? We know that.
Yeah.
All right. And so this is something I've started from the book. Okay, what I'm going to add on. When I get an order in, it has and I have the printout of the order. It has their name and their address and their phone number, but it does not put their web address on it. So I don't have their email. So when I enter them in my database, and this is a new person, I don't have the email.
Okay.
So I've got all these missing emails, but they're someplace else. They're in Outlook when I write back to them, and I kept thinking, I've got to do something about this. And so the book gave me the idea of what I add on, because at the end of the day, I have to do the printout from my processor so that I have the number there of the order. So if I have to go back to it and give them a credit or something, I've got that number. And so I have to print that out and I clip it with the order. And on that is their email. And so I just decided, all right, at the end of the day, when I call it my secretarial work I'm doing, and making sure everything, and that they know that and I have to click so that they get the email that says their order's been shipped and everything. That then I'm going back to my database because I printed that out, and I'm making sure that I put in their email. And so that is something nice. That's something I've added.
And is it working?
Well, I'm doing it every day.
There you go. It's working.
And just checking to make sure I have them. Of course, I've got, they have to have done an order for me to have it. But I've been adding since I started reading the book, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do This is
Good for
something.
you.
So for a month, I have been adding emails. But now, can I tell you a story about something in here? It's that you've got this good habit. You've broken your bad habit, like Mary Beth. You know, she's not going to drink anymore, and then something happens that you've always done, and so you go back to your bad habit. Okay, now this happened 150 years ago. When Heather was a baby. So, I mean, it's been a long time. My husband smoked, and he started smoking in high school, and occasionally he would quit, but he didn't really quit. You know, you never quit until you've absolutely quit. And I had this, and we were living in Seattle, and I had this friend I taught with who also smoked, and she was around us a lot. So they always smoked to you know, at the same time, and I never smoked. And there may have been some drinking involved, you know, but anyway, when we moved to California, he quit smoking when he started his internship. And so he wasn't smoking, and she had decided she was going to quit smoking. So she's in Seattle, and I had Heather. And so she decided after Christmas, she was going to come down to see us. And so neither one of them had been smoking for several months. And she came down, and so we're sitting at the kitchen table. There was some drinking involved, and the two of them just looked at each other, and they got up and went out and got in the car, and they went and bought cigarettes.
Wow.
Because it was something that they had always done together.
Yep.
I was so mad at both of them.
Oh my gosh.
I was just so disgusted with them.
Yeah, for both of them. Oh, to be
Yeah, I mean, they just looked at each other. You know, we always smoked together.
Yep. And interesting.
And that was in the book about the all of a sudden something happens and you go back to your bad habit. And that was the thing. I thought, I haven't thought about that for years.
Yeah.
Until I read that. I thought, boy, I've got an example of that.
Yeah, you did. Now, did Quarter ever quit? He must have, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He said he woke up one morning on the ship and he didn't have any cigarettes, and he didn't want to bum any, and so he quit. I mean, and he came in and he never, and that was probably in 1977.
Yeah. Wow. I'm glad he did.
Well, me too.
My mom quit smoking because my brother, who was a baby, well, a toddler at the time, he was older than me, he'd taken her pack of cigarettes, because they used to have these commercials, I guess, that used to play in the 60s where someone would inhale off the cigarette and her head exploded. So my brother was worried that my mom would, you know, take a drag off a cigarette and her head would explode. So he took her pack of cigarettes and he busted each cigarette and put it in the toilet. But he didn't flush the toilet. So I guess they had one bathroom at the time. They were in a trailer. And so she opens up, she's looking for cigarettes and she can't find them. And she goes to the restroom and there are, I don't know, you know, probably 6 or 7 cigarettes busted in half floating in and she thought, okay, I guess I'll quit smoking.
This is Nancy's chips in the water, right?
Yeah, you don't want it after that, right?
Well, Quarter would tell me that he'd quit smoking. I mean, he didn't smoke at home, but I knew he was still smoking. I mean, you kiss him and you know, and I tell him, you know, this is like licking a dirty ashtray kind of thing. But one day I went up to his office. This is when we were in Japan. This is before he quit. And I wanted to leave him a note. And so, and there was no paper or no pencil or anything on the top of the desk. So I pulled out the drawer and here's a package of cigarettes. And so you know what I did? I broke them and put them all over the top of his desk, and I didn't even leave him a note. He knew I'd been there.
He knew you stopped by. Good for you, Karen. That's a loud woman move right there.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, let me open the floor to you all. I know I think we all have gotten different takeaways. No matter how far you got into the book, I was just wondering if there's a takeaway or something that jumped out at you that we hadn't discussed yet, or maybe we discussed and you just want to reiterate. For me, I know we already mentioned it, that right there at the beginning, though, the mindset shift of I am and looking for the wins, that was a big thing. Everything else was really good advice. I would, if you really want to learn more about habits, it's become a small topic of study for me. I would recommend this book and then recommend Gretchen Rubin books, The Four Tendencies. She's got a little assessment which is free. She teaches you how you create the habit, like what's the best way to create the habit based on your personality. It's fascinating. So if you're ever interested in really learning more about habits, I would recommend Gretchen Rubin is just delightful anyway. So if you don't know her stuff, but The Four Tendencies is that book. Any other giveaway takeaways or anything that you feel a year from now when you look back and maybe think about this book, what would be the thing maybe you remember, if anything? Sometimes I'll be honest with you, I don't remember anything because it didn't leave me an impact. But is there anything that jumps out at you, Debbie? Go ahead.
I really like the hooking. I really like hooking onto something bigger, and also kind of pairing that with Gretchen's.
Yes.
Knowing your tendencies, so how you can be successful, and then celebrating those small wins, because it makes a huge difference. All the little things add up to big things, and it's the little things that determine the big things.
It sure does. And I think sometimes the little things are big things. And perhaps our challenge is for us not to assign the value of the thing, of the win. It's just a win, and maybe that will make us feel better, because many of you listed, including me, listed little wins, and I don't know if any of them were little, to be honest with you. They were all pretty hefty wins. So let's maybe not even that kind of word change might be an interesting shift as well. Nancy, go ahead.
I did not love this book. It's not a bad book. It's good if you want to figure out ways to do habits and all. But my reaction throughout it was, but I know people for whom you cannot do this until you've dealt with the stuff that's
good point.
And then I got to the stuff on personality tests and how genetics, and I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, understood.
I'll tell you what I liked about this book, and what I'm going to remember is this conversation. This was valuable. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
I to be fair, I knew most of these things already from a book by Sean Acor. If you've not read it, he's
oh, okay, yes. Oh, I like his stuff. I haven't read his that one though. Thank you for that recommendation.
That was, but and was it about habits? It was more about being happy, but
happiness, the happiness advantage. I think it maybe.
But it was all about if you want to be learning to play the guitar, put the guitar in the living room and thing. So some of those pieces were already in place, and it wasn't news to me, but thank you for this conversation.
Oh, you're welcome. That makes me happy as could be. I appreciate that. Mary Beth, any takeaways or any final thoughts?
I'm still making it through the book. So right now, my takeaways are, I like the hooking as well. And I'm like reevaluating, like, last night I said, okay, I want to take my vitamins. So as I'm doing my lockup thing, I'm going to put my vitamins out. So they're there staring at me on the counter in the morning.
That's a great idea.
Right? Yeah. It's like,
little things.
You want to work, get them out in front of you. So I'm like evaluating small things I can do. And also in my work side as well. And I guess I haven't gotten as far as what you were talking about, Nancy, but I find that there's something about me that forcing it is never gonna work. It's like that I don't know if it's the universe that just says, no, you cannot force your way through to where you want to go. It's got to open up, it's got to happen. And I'm more aligned with that. I will, like Nancy says, I will clean out the stuff so that all of a sudden the habit becomes easier.
Yeah.
But I really have to do the work, the internal work, and then I can do the habit that's been blocked. I can't do the, I don't know, is that the masculine thing? You just push through.
I think it is. I was just thinking that when you said it, I was like, it's a very masculine way to kind of barrel through it.
Yeah. Pain, no gain, blah, blah, blah. So that's one thing I gotta be, allow rather than push on. Yeah. So I'm given the fact that we do have some wins now.
Yeah.
I think that my version of how to get it done is working. You know, who I am, how to get it done is working. And I did like this conversation. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Yeah. How about you, Karen? What would be a thing you might remember a year from now from this book, or maybe this conversation?
I think the thing that really, and the only I'm dropping stuff. Flag I put in is on page 262. And it says your actions reveal how badly you want something. If you keep saying something is a priority, but you never act on it, then you don't really want it. It's time to have an honest conversation with yourself. Your actions reveal your true motivations. And I think it's time to have an honest conversation with yourself. And this whole little paragraph is what jumped out at me.
That's a big one. It's a good one.
It's a big one. And that's talking about the stuff you've got to clear out from the mess that's going on in your head before you can change something, that you've got to have the honest conversation.
That's very true. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, he doesn't really, I think Nancy's right. He does talk a little bit about the psychology and the personality, but he doesn't, to me, there isn't the sort of getting your house in order, so to speak, with our mindsets. Thank you for raising that point, Nancy. That was not something I caught on to. And you're right. You can push through and you can create a habit, but I think what will happen is you'll go back to your old habit, or you'll abandon that habit. It won't become a lifelong thing.
Something else will happen that will prevent you from reaching the goal that you're trying to get to.
Exactly.
Some part of you doesn't allow that.
Yep.
I see that with my son, and I love him dearly, and he's got the masculine push through, and then he's got the same issues. And so I'm offering a more feminine.
Good for you, loud woman. That's how you do it, mama.
Slowly.
Yes.
You raised some hard-headed children. I don't know where that came from, but that's
stubborn? Where did I get that trait? I'm glad y'all enjoyed this book discussion. Sometimes we read these books, and I'll be honest with you, I could probably from this day forward only read books by women and be quite content. But I wonder, this book came recommended. I'm glad I read it. It certainly helped me, and I'm glad that you got something from this conversation, and perhaps something from the book itself. If nothing else, one little tidbit or two. I wanted to share with you the next steps for the book club, because this is actually our last book for this cycle of the book club, and I wanted to share with you what's coming next for the Celestial University Book Club. So I'm going to take a couple months off on the book club as I finish Loud Woman, and I want to just have that time, because this is not a complaint, it's a blessing, but it takes me quite a while to read the book, think of discussion questions, host this speech, and for the next few months I need that time to help me promote and get my shit together for Loud Woman. So I'm going to press pause on it, but we'll be back. And I don't have a time frame except for this. I know that Loud Woman will be a book assignment for the Celestial University Book Club when we do launch. And I'm going to ask somebody to moderate it, and maybe be Debbie or somebody, and we'll discuss that. So I'll keep you posted on that. There won't be any price increase for you if you want to join us or not. You know, we'll kind of go through all those logistics. I really want to connect with some authors and have them join us in the book discussions. I think that really lends a lovely opportunity to discuss the topics even further. So I'm definitely exploring that as well. I don't know if it will get anybody of popularity as Glennon ever again, but there are some lovely female authors out there who may not be signed with Little Brown or insert big company, but who have a powerful message, and I want to connect with them. So if you know of any women authors, I know Debbie knows hundreds of them, but you know what I mean. If you stumble across a book that maybe is not getting the attention you think it deserves, or maybe, you know, because let's face it, I'm learning this thanks to Debbie's mentoring. The book's success often has nothing to do with how great your book is. There's a lot of factors involved there. And so if we can elevate a woman author who wrote a great book, let's do it. Yeah, Nancy, do you have something you want to? Yes.
Debbie first.
Oh, I apologize. Go ahead, Debbie. Okay.
I'm just going to recommend book, Rewire Your Wealth. 3 steps any woman can take to program her brain for financial success, by a woman named Barbara Hewson, whose former name was Barbara Stanny. And she's done some interesting books. This one I'm reading for another book club, actually. And most of the way through it, it's more woo-woo than I expected, because it's all about, the neuroscience, rewiring your brain so that you will do the steps that women quite often don't do. But then I got into it, and there's all this stuff about A Course in Miracles and how you see yourself. And anyway, her story is fascinating. She was the daughter of Richard Block of H&R Block, had lots of money, told, don't worry, you'll always have money. And then married this guy who proceeded to gamble away her money and wasn't able to stop. I mean, she's like, oh, no, I'm married. I can't. And so she was destitute, basically, with her 3 kids and divorced, and had to figure this out. And so she and I happened to be Facebook friends with her.
Oh, well, that would be lovely.
When I bought her book, I got a special deal where I got to go to her. She had like a Q&A thing for people. And it was she seems flighty, but she writes really powerfully.
Some of us creatives are.
But we could invite her.
Yes. So. Oh, thank you so much. I'll definitely check her book out, and I'll circle back with you if you don't mind.
Sure.
And we'll see if we can set up. That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, I love that. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Is let's find some good books to talk about, and let's reconvene. Maybe in the summer or whatever. Yes, I will be there on the book discussion. I won't lead it though. Because that seems weird. I don't know. It feels like somebody else should be asking me the questions. Hey, Debbie can do it.
They'll come up with different angles than you would think of. And so
that's right.
You'll realize there was more to it than you even thought you put in.
Oh, I hope. I hope. We had it scheduled for the pre-orders this summer. I'll keep you all posted when I just sent today the last section to Debbie Keevan for her editing prowess. So we did developmental edits on it. Now it's going into line edits. So she got the last section for her line edits, and she's pushing them right back to me pretty quickly. So things are, oh my God, I'm excited. Yes, you're not that behind, my dear. You're good. So, and then Mary Beth is going to be publishing her book later this year, and then we have Sherry. So we have lots of little authors here. Karen's written a book. Nancy, have you written a book or no? I apologize, I don't know that.
I wrote a book, but it was back when I was pregnant, so 14 years ago. But it was a good one. My readers thought it was great, but everything crashed as I finished the book, and the advice I got was never, ever, ever self-publish. And so,
that's not.
And I wouldn't. And I thought about releasing it again, but it's like there's no point. It's like I would rewrite it differently because there's nothing about tapping in there. It was before my tapping days. But
interesting.
Kind of cool I think a lottery winner. I thought that was good.
Well, I think maybe you should have a conversation with Debbie, because maybe there's something to.
Debbie's maybe when this quiz is done, damn it. Conversation, Debbie.
Yeah, sounds like maybe something there then, Miss Nancy. Very exciting. Yes. All right, ladies, anything else that we can help each other with today? Thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing how have your habits unfold, and I'll keep you posted on when I just had to get through like this one thing with the book, and then I can look ahead. and then when I do that, I'll be happy to email you and give you firmer dates on when we'll get kicked back out again, if you'd like to join us, of course. So, all right. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Jill. Take care.
You're welcome. You're welcome.